All right, we're going live here on the Frankly Fabulous Show. Lovely afternoon, Thursday, 3:34 p.m. in New York City, the absolute center of the world. No place else even matters. Everywhere else, people are just uncultured. Philistine. No, I'm kidding, of course. I'm exaggerating. It's a beautiful day. It's been a beautiful week. I've got my camera set up here, trying this out. I've had some cool. Last night I filmed an event. It was kind of a fun night out, the way it's supposed to be. I'm not really hungover. I had I think 3 different kinds of adult beverage. I had some white wine, some Sauvignon Blanc. I had some red wine, some Shiraz, some Yellowtail Shiraz, and I think I had 2 Coronas. Which, I don't know. I'm surprised their brand didn't tank. But they were represented well. They were, there was it was a catered event, which was really nice. White tablecloths, it was constantly people passed around hors d'oeuvres. People were constantly offering you little salmon layered cake, or the best were these shrimp wrapped in bacon or prosciutto. It was prosciutto wrapped shrimp. That was delicious. If I would have known the food was going to be so good, I might not have paid. Well, I wanted to support B&H. I went to B&H. I want to give them a shout out on 2nd Avenue. Vegetarian, what do they call it? Deli? Vegetarian Cafe. B&H. It's been there forever. Since probably, I don't know, the 60s, maybe even older than that. I'm not exactly sure. But, people at the Poetry Project have been eating at B&H since time immemorial. So it's cool to go there. It's affordable. It's healthy. It's vegetarian. It's homemade. Support their business. Definitely go to B&H. And it's awesome atmosphere. Awesome, color scheme. And the guy's really cool. They didn't even... And that was delicious too. So I had some vegetarian chili over brown rice. $10. Bam. In the East Village, that's pretty damn good. You can get a cup of borscht for $5, It's old school. It's great. Definitely go to B&H. But the hors d'oeuvres were immaculate. Fantastic. It was nice. It was an outdoor thing. There wasn't necessarily a vaccine requirement, but I think it was kind of understood that most people there are of sound mind and have gotten their vaccines by this point. Particularly in New York City, it's people are conscientious and they believe science, so they've handled that. And it's outdoors, so it's also, the seats are 6 feet apart, and gosh, I don't know how much. I feel like this is the adventure of my life, so I need to talk about this, but I am self-conscious about putting on the internet because, I don't know. It's an immediate situation, but I had a great time. I mean, so we went out afterwards. We went to fucking, what is that place? International Bar. On my way over, I was walking over because it's fucking, it's a 30-minute walk according to Google Maps from my house to the church. And, I was walking over and I wasn't sure. The Google Maps said go 23rd to Broadway down to 10th, and then over on 10th. And then the other option was take 8th Avenue, I think, down to 10th and cut over. And then take Greenwich Ave, which I love taking Greenwich Ave. And then cut over after Patchen Place and the library, I think on 10th. Which the front of the church is on 10th. Typically, we enter on 11th through the back way. That's where the gate to the parish hall is. So going on the 10th didn't necessarily make sense. Plus, I'm carrying, I mean, I had my Manfrotto tripod, which weighs 300 pounds. And then I brought another tripod with my fucking iPhone tripod adapter. You slip your iPhone right in there, and you mount it on the Sunpack 6000 PG. And hopefully that's picking up the audio pretty good. Because they said they were going to live stream it, which is cool, through the YouTube page, so you can check that out. I'm there for like archival purposes and to just capture it in a nice looking way. I'm like, I try to look at it like this was sort of a a wedding of sorts. It was a book launch for long overdue new and selected poems. Erica Hunt, one of the greatest poets alive. And I agree with everything Charles Bernstein said about she is essential to if you want to, be relevant or understand or be to the center of 21st century poetics. Like, you need to be reading Erica Hunt. And to be honest, like, her work is not that widely available. I don't even know if there has been. The only work I'm aware of was something that was I think published by Roof Books in the 80s, and it's called Local History, and that is even like an obscure sort of, which is shocking to me because Erica Hunt has been around since the 70s and has been at this at the center of a lot of these movements that get a lot of like language poetry. She was in San Francisco in the 70s. She talks about how she knew a Lorenzo Thomas. And Tanya M. Foster left this incredible freaking reading. She did this incredible reading. It was like she recorded it, the audio, and sent it in. It was unbelievable. So great. It was an incredible event, and just like really, it was important. That was really nice because she deserves it. Absolutely. She deserves to be celebrated and given all the awards. Like, I cannot believe, like, put out all the books, she should be getting published every 3 years or whatever, like everybody else. As much as she, like, she should be in the New Yorker if the New Yorker was smart and had any class. Maybe she is. I guess I'm not positive about that, but Erica Hunt should absolutely be in the New Yorker. Which is like, that's the epitome of, I don't know, benediction in that kind of academic regard. If you're in the New Yorker, it's like, okay. I mean, it's not my taste. They get to most of the people that I like either 20 years too late or never. They write profiles, like Bernadette Mayer. I don't know if they've published Bernadette Mayer. Maybe they have. Perhaps they have. But they wrote a profile about Bernadette Mayer. It's like, they never published their, like, they did that recently, I think, with Nathaniel Mackey. They wrote a profile or something, and it's like, well, publish the poems, Maybe they did, I don't know, but the New Yorker's not that hip. That's what I'm saying. People everywhere takes it as the standard. In the Paris Review, these are the two, like, vanguard publications of literary kind of lionization. Paris Review, if you have a story in that or a poem in that, or the interview is like, okay, you're in the canon. You got a Paris Review interview, like, you're a legend. You're one of the greats. You're in the pantheon. And to that I say, fuck that. I mean, the Paris Review has been hip at times. They had Tom Clark as a poetry editor in the 60s, which was probably the best thing that ever happened to them because they did publish, to their credit, a lot of... I mean, Tom Clark knows all the New York School second generation, people, so that's what he was publishing. I mean, there's some incredible issues of the Paris Review, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, until They get to everything late. Who was the last guy? Philip Gorovich or whatever? Before the guy that got Me Too'd. What was his name? Lauren Stein? That Philip Gorovich, he just published all the old guy shit. Frederick Seidel was in every fucking issue of the Paris Review from 2005. When I was in college, he was in every fucking issue of the Paris Review. And it was very old guy. It was like innovative for them to publish it's Sam Shepard Road Story. I have this issue from 2009, believe it or not. It's Frederick Seidel, Sam Shepard, James Elroy has an interview where he has some controversial opinions on racism that have not aged well, let's say. It's very guy heavy. It was like innovative. They published some like Werner Herzog shit. There's Rilke translations. It's like, holy shit. It's changed a lot, but it's still not hip. People think the Paris Review is like I said, it's also Poetry Magazine in Chicago. That is for poetry world. Being in the center of the country, it is sort of like the magazine of record, I would say, because it has touched and included pretty much everybody who counts, I suppose, in a certain way. I don't know. I mean, poetry exists. It doesn't necessarily need to be. There's like I said, Erica Hunt doesn't have a freaking volume really even in print until this book comes out. And Nightboat is the best one of the best current publishers. Absolutely, they're phenomenal. I wonder how many copies. Their distribution is good, definitely. Like they're in all the smartest, the best bookstores, but I wonder what the print run of that book is. It's that's how poetry exists. Hundreds of copies is maybe like average. 250 copies, 100 copies, 750 copies is like kind of a minor poet would put out maybe 750 copies of a book, and that's like kind of a big volume. With my magazine, I put out 125 copies, which felt, I don't know, I didn't really use them properly, but they're out there in the world circulating like the magic beans that they're. I got an email recently actually from fucking the bookstore in Spokane, Washington, Aunties. They sent me a fucking email. The guy said, "We've been trying to reach out to you, but you're no longer at the address you gave us. We sold all the copies of your magazine. Do you want the fucking $15 or whatever it is?" So I forgot to email him back. Shit, I need to email him back. But see, that's how small press distribution works. That's what do they call it? It's on consignment. So you give them the books, and the agreement is they agree to sell them, and they take a percentage. So I think I charge $5, and I think they take $2. That's how it worked at McNally Jackson in Soho. And the dude was super great about it. He treated me like super professionally, and it was official. I signed a contract and shit. They would send me a check every quarterly I got one check for $3. I think I got a check for $12. They might just buy you out at a certain point. That's maybe what happened with the thing in Spokane. I would find it hard to believe that they sold it, but maybe they fucking did. I don't know. I think there's like a hip poetry thing out there. Idaho has, and Montana has got some hip poetry stuff. So there's people that maybe went through there that picked it up and thought, oh yeah, this is, that's how it was meant to be. It was meant to be like, these are kind of poets that I see who are really intense and kind of lodged in New York, and their work is very celebrated even here, and like they're very respected, and they're doing readings, and they're publishing maybe in local kind of chapbooks and stuff, but they don't necessarily, from what I can tell, have a larger nationwide notoriety, and then just people that I meet at open mics. Uh, the lifeblood of the poetry world, the circulatory system of the poetry world, the open mic circuit. I love doing the open mic circuit. I love being out there amongst the people. I love the democratic setup of it, where I share equal time. You get one poem, or 3 to 5 minutes. It's not a big, let's go worship this, genius central figure, poet, or influencer poet or whatever. It's like everybody just signs up. We're all the leftovers, the people who didn't get booked. The people, I don't know, having an audience in poetry is like, it's cheating, or it's not what it's about. It's not about getting likes. It's like just because something gets very few likes, it still can be very strong and absolutely powerful and need to exist. There's tons of poets that are not well known at all. And just my friends, people I met in workshops, basically anybody who I saw their work and I saw an appeal and an aesthetic relationship. I was trying to put a certain aesthetic forth. So it was like people that I felt a resonance with. And then carrying that out into the bookstores, like I put it in Columbus. I put everywhere I go. I put some in Paris, France. There's Easy's Paradise in fucking Paris, France. It's on the continent. It's in Columbus. It's in Spokane, Washington, or it was. It's in Portland. It's in various. It's in Bolinas. It's in San Francisco. It's at City Lights. It's in Berkeley at a couple places. It's various friends have copies here and there. In LA, there's definitely a few copies of Easy Paradise here and there. Is that it? Maybe, I don't know. I try to get it wherever I went. That's how I plan to distribute the next one, like Johnny Appleseed or Vachel Lindsay. Just distributing it by hand. I don't know. With the books I make now, I mail them to people directly. That I'll probably have an element of that with my next magazine. Just mail it directly to. I gave Erica Hunt a copy, and various other poetry people that I knew, I gave them a copy. So it's out there among the cognoscenti. That was 2018. So that was 3 years ago. So my second issue is 3 years. Intervals. The third issue will be coming out in 2025. 2024. What year is it? Jesus Christ. So, what the fuck was I talking about? I was walking, and that's how I'm doing it. It's been hard to put the second one together because I like meeting people in person. Like, I hear people read, and I trust what I heard. If I at any of these open mics or any reading, you'll probably meet a handful of people, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. If you're just hanging out and you're down to talk, it's been impossible to do that, obviously, basically over Zoom. Not impossible, but like, I just didn't do that much of it. And to be honest, like talking to people last night, I wasn't alone. One of my friends was telling me the same thing. They didn't do a single Zoom reading at all. So I had a short period where I did it. I would have done it longer, but I could do it now if I had the internet. If it was winter time and like that's what we were doing, like I could do Zoom. That's what I probably would have done if I had my own place, during the pandemic. Talking about it in the past tense. Um, I would have definitely done more Zoom shit for sure. I would have attended more Zoom readings. I would have done workshops on Zoom. But one thing that I heard is that people who had to work through the pandemic and people who kept things up through Zoom are getting fried. They're getting burnt out now. Everybody who got fired or laid off or, on hiatus has been in YouTube world. The people, the organization I work for, they had an event tonight on Zoom. That's pretty important. So the event last night was a big deal with catering and 100 people and everything that entails. I was thinking about how I screwed up the lighting last night. That was my bad. Next time I'll take it more seriously. That's like my thing. I'm the DP of my own shoot. These are my lights. Maybe I'll bring my reflector and my soft box. We'll get a nice look for this. We'll throw some production value in this. Some real high fashion New York shit. I work for Vogue magazine, for Christ's sake. I'm the BTS guy. Got all your BTS. Yeah, so I don't know. I didn't really do. I just disappeared into YouTube world, and I live streamed a lot. That was my Zoom. That was my Zoom party, my one-person Zoom party. Sometimes with friends. So I'm walking to the reading yesterday, and I've got my fucking tripods. They weigh 45 pounds. My camera's in there. It's hot. It was hot yesterday. It was 90 degrees. It was like a summer day. I didn't know what to wear. I shaved my beard. I guess maybe that's the big elephant in the room, or lack thereof now. I shaved the elephant in the room. Yesterday before the reading, I've got my... Let me show this thing. This is like some kind of fucking future... I got this for $9.95 off a website which shall remain nameless. And it's USB battery powered clipper. It's got, different clippers for like cutting hair in different lengths. So I've got that option. It's not necessarily, I guess, a face thing. Although I like the way it kind of cuts like a 5 o'clock shadow in. It doesn't cut you totally clean. I like having a little bit of growth. And so, I don't know. I'm looking at myself in the mirror yesterday. I shot it. I shot a whole video. I got whole clips of me not knowing what to do. Because, I don't know. It was like a superstition thing, It's like when you're on a winning streak... You got to keep your beard growing. That's what all these baseball players do. That's what, it's like, it's just, or Michael Jordan, he doesn't change his shorts or whatever when he's on a winning streak, and it's like, I don't know, the beard, not that I've been on a winning streak the whole time I had the beard. In fact, it was kind of a losing proposition until about a couple months ago. But, things have been going pretty well, But, I've been going on these dates and stuff, and I'm like, are chicks into the beard? I just wanted to test. I wanted to see. It was an experiment, and I want to apologize publicly. I'm sorry to all the women that went on dates with me with the huge beard, because it was, like I said, it was just not what it's not what they ordered. It's not what they signed up for. And it was like, it was like down to here, to be honest. Like, it's hard to even think because, like, that's one thing when I was looking at the beard, I'm like, my chin looks so small. Like, when I shave this beard, What am I gonna look like under? I'm gonna look like, some very, circus freak, very weak draw. I don't know. The beard like fits my forehead, maybe in a way. The lower half of my face is so small compared to my. But I don't know. Maybe it was just a grotesque compensation. It did feel that way. Why was I growing all this hair? It's just like I couldn't let it go, but I don't know what happened. I smoked, of course, and maybe that was all I needed. I'm not really sure why. I'm not really sure how I got that done, but it was almost just like jumping off a diving board. That's my analogy for everything. When I was in like 3rd or 4th grade, I was afraid to go off the high dive at the Grandview pool. I'd get up on the high dive and I'd go out and I'd look over the end, and I actually couldn't believe how high it was. It's much higher up there than it looks. You feel like you're way up fucking high, and the pool is tiny, and there's wind and sky, and just like the building's tiny, and the people far away are suddenly tiny but kind of closer to you. You see them, whereas you don't see them when you're on ground level. You see out in the parking lot and shit, and you're up there in the wind, and it's just like, god damn, people jump off. It's like 12 feet or something. But I don't know, when you're 8 years old, it's high. So I'd get up there and I'd stand on the end and I'd just be like, oh my god. And I'd get back down, I'd climb down the ladder. This one kid offered me $5 to jump off, which, when you're 7 years, 8 years old, that's a lot of money, 9 years old. And I got up and I stood on the end of the fucking diving board, the high dive, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't even do it for $5. All the kids were in the pool watching me and shit. Come on, let's go, you fucking. I think they were encouraging me to conquer my fear. It was not necessarily like they were making fun of me for being a wimp. They were kind of like, yeah, come on, it's not a big deal. You can do it. But, a few years later, it's sort of like my roller coaster thing. I wouldn't ride roller coasters. I was just too. I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but I was scared. I wouldn't get on fucking roller coasters. I'd go to the amusement park. I'd have to wait. While everybody else, I'd have to wait while they waited in line. At least they got to ride the fucking thing. I just waited all day. Their waiting times were interrupted by brief periods of insane endorphin and adrenaline spikes. Fear mode, exhilaration. But sometime around 5th or 6th or 7th, probably 7th grade, I just said, fuck it. I started doing backflips off the high dive. At one point, I was able to do a backflip off the high dive in high school, because it was like a wrestling thing. It was like, oh, this is a moonsault. Jumping off the high dive into the pool was like the closest thing to like being able to jump off a turnbuckle and not having to worry about, any kind of serious damage, really. So I'd do flips and shit. I wasn't that good. I didn't have that many moves, but I could do a backflip, and I couldn't really do a front flip that well. I couldn't really tuck and roll. I'm not really that fast, I guess. Or I don't know. My center of gravity's too wide or something. So I don't know. I conquered that fear at a certain point. That's what the fuck was I talking about? Was like that? Cutting my beard. Exactly the same situation. Well, I don't know. Just like that moment of like, why of just letting go and just like pushing through, taking the chance, taking the leap. The beard, it's like, this took me a year. Is it holy? Is it imbued with powers? Is it my wizard beard? It looked like some kind of fucking religious. But I don't know. I don't really think that matters. I think it's, you have to shed your skin and you have to be reborn. He who's not Busy born is busy dying. So, you can't have a long ass beard. It's not me. It's not who I am. It was kind of like a character I thought was kind of funny to project in the wild for a while. But I don't think it had a whole lot of sex appeal. It just made me look. It made me look like my head was like 3 feet long, like I had a fucking like Easter Island head or like a carved mask, you know, like my head just like all moved, you know. And it just was not. It you know, the track record speaks for itself. I went on 4 dates. Nothing happened, really. The girls were cool with it. They didn't say anything about it, but I don't think they found it. I think they thought it was kind of gross. Well, I also have this like blemish kind of on one of my front teeth, probably from smoking, I'm guessing. It's a little bit of a cavity-ish type thing. And so with the beard, you know, my mustache hair is getting long. It's red, and like I look like fucking Yosemite Sam gone hipster. And couple that with the tooth that's kind of fucked up. It's not good. It's not looking like I'm taking care of myself. I mean, I don't know. I think the look post-pandemic is hygienic. And long-ass beard, hair is not hygienic. Hair catches germs. It's, the overly masculine. And like I said, plus the fucking January 6th thing. It's like all those guys had super huge Duck Dynasty beards. Like, I don't want to be a Duck Dynasty look-alike. I did it. It's kind of hard to believe I did. Well, you know, to be honest, the reason why I bring the razor into it is because the reason why I started growing the beard is because the electric razor I had, which was very similar to this, broke. And I was so broke and so just like trapped, unable to do anything in my situation. It literally broke when I moved out of the 257 house. It broke around that time, March 2018, when I moved out. And like, my ex's dad gave me a fucking, or I don't think he gave it to me, but I used it. And I lost the fucking cable to it. I lost the power cable. So I literally had this fucking thing at my house the whole pandemic, but couldn't shave because I had no power cable. And I was just such a helpless weed smoker that, like, I couldn't really get it together to, you know, pay to order a fucking electric razor offline. My beard got to the certain point where it just felt like, okay, we're doing this. We're doing this again. I'm too high all the time and too just, like, weepy, and, like, this situation's too insane. Trump's the president. We're trapped inside. We can't even... I couldn't... If I could just go to a fucking store, go to a CVS... This is what I was picturing in my head. I was going to go to a CVS or a Target or something. I was going to find an electric clipper on the shelf for $20. I was going to pay for it, and I was going to walk out and shave my beard. That's what I thought would happen, honestly. But that moment... I was looking for the right moment, and I was like, I need to turn this into some kind of performance piece. I need to do this in public. Should I do this at a show or something? Maybe I should have saved it for a reading. Fuck, that would have been good. Why did I just think of that? That could have been the first thing I did at my first reading back. Shave my beard. The pandemic's over. My beard's gone. Fuck. Maybe I'll shave my head, I guess. It's not the same. God damn it. Well, that's a good idea. I fucked that one up. Well, I don't have any readings anyway, so who cares? And I'm glad I shaved my beard, because every time I shave it, I'm pleasantly surprised. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. My face is like, this is something that is probably more appealing to people. like it's okay. It's nice. I have a nice face. Why not? Why cover it? Why cover it up with a huge fucking depressive beard? And so, I waited through the whole pandemic and just there are certain reasons why I didn't shave the beard here. I won't go into, but like I said, I was experimenting on these dates and just like I wanted to see what the reaction was, because the myth or the rumor, I mean, this, like I said, I'm a few years behind the curve. This is more of maybe a pre-Trump thing, or I'm trying to pinpoint exactly when the years were, but sometime around 2014, 2015. It was like, I've probably talked about this many times, but it was like very sexy for guys just to have beards. Like any guy that had a beard, it was just like, even if they were ugly, it was a way to hide your ugliness. You could have had, but you had a beard, it's like, oh yeah, this guy's. I think the pandemic maybe will get rid of that. It's hard to say. Maybe people prefer a more well-groomed beard. I mean, my beard was meant to be like a fuck you and sort of a provocative, like, in-your-face gesture about naturalism, or just, I mean, I literally didn't do shit to my hair at all. I didn't even shampoo it. I'd wet it in the shower. No, not really. I'd shampoo and condition sometimes when I was with my ex, but not really that often. I don't put any product in it, and like I said, I clip it from time to time just so the mustache hairs would not get in my mouth. But it was kind of meant to be an experiment, and just like overgrowth and untamed, and just a big flowering garden on my face. I guess some kind of like pathetic over pronunciation of like some kind of masculinity, or look at this fucking, testosterone. Like I can grow this huge fucking beard. And that's just kind of grotesque. I think people could see through that. It was a look. It was also like a Matt Groening thing. He always draws himself with like this crazy fucking like scribbly beard and glasses. And so like a lot of my heroes have that kind of look. They have a big, huge, bushy beard, horn-rimmed glasses, and then long hair. So it's like I was kind of being that. I was being like a cartoon of like Matt Groening, but me. I was sort of playing that. And it's antisocial and just kind of Beach Boys. I mean, their beards weren't really that long, but that look of melancholy, depressive, don't leave the house, just grow my beard and get weird people out. But also kind of course, a Jesus thing too, kind of a monk or whatever. A lot of religious maniacs have drizzly, I had the white in the beard in the front. This is an ode to my beard. This is the elegy for my beard, my coat, my pandemic beard. Elegy for a Pandemic Beard by Frankly Fabulous. An ode to masculine. The death of toxic a.k.a. the death of toxic masculinity. How I castrated my rampant horse's mane. My soul patch. My goatee. My Civil War general. My 19th century. Return to the earth. My pandemic beard. So, yeah, it just had to fall. It was hard. It was tough. It was tough to cut through, to be honest. You watched it. You saw it. Millions watched on TV as I live streamed the death of the pandemic beard and the birth of youth. Somebody told me last night that I could pass for 28. Somebody told me I could easily pass for 28 years old. So I was like, all right. It worked. I no longer look like a middle-aged gnomish insurrectionist anymore. I'm reborn. I'm ageless. I'm young again. I thought that's what would happen. I don't even think you can really see the gray in my hair as much. The beard gray is what's kind of, gnarly about it. So I feel rejuvenated. I don't know. Has a weight lifted? Does it feel that way? It just, to be honest, I just didn't like it. It's too hot. It's like having a thatched fucking, like, thorny fucking bush on your face or something. It's like, it just kind of like sits on your face like this, like a horsehair shirt or something. It's like, it's this nettle of, fibers, and it's a pelt. I mean, it was 89 degrees yesterday. That may have had something to do with it. I don't know. I just took the leap of faith. I think it was the right move, definitely. I'm shocked. Because I don't want to bring in the old energy, to be honest. Like the old energy, let's put it behind us. Like, it was not a good time, to be honest. Like, the Trump years, it was just not a good time. And the pandemic, of course. And, like, that beard started April 2020. I shaved a couple times early in the pandemic, but fucking pandemic, man. Holy shit. Veterans of the pandemic. Remember that shit? 2020. I mean, we all just YouTubed it. We YouTubed through it. Thank you, YouTubers, for getting us through. I don't know what people are watching. Nobody's watching me. I thought I was one of the heroes of the pandemic. One of the broadcasting legends, saving people, but I don't know. I'm not sure. History will see it that way. Who will watch my streaming content ever? I don't know, but it's good that it's out there. I'm glad I'm doing it. So, yeah, I cut it with the scissors. It was not wanting to go. It was thick and needed the machete to hack through that bush. I bet things would have gone differently slightly on those dates if I hadn't had the beard. The one girl in particular, I think, seemed kind of mad about it. The other girls didn't really seem to mind that much, but it was not a turn on. It didn't seem like to me. It was just a curiosity, because a man, you're so, like, you don't really know what works, to be honest. Like, a lot of the things that do work are counterintuitive, so maybe just having a huge fucking beard was going to be like some kind of unconscious, like, oh my god, like, do people who identify as women just like go crazy for this? Let's find out. The answer, I got certain good reactions at times from people, but I don't really think it was the beard, to be honest. Like, when I was in Paris, right, I had a few kind of interesting reactions to things. But I don't think it was the beard, really. I'm talking about my reading, I'm not talking about anything I personally did. I'm talking about when I read in that cave, the reactions that I got were similar to reactions I got with the beard at other times, but I think that has more to do with just like kind of my energy or whatever. Confidence, command, my command of the stage. JK. So yeah, this fucking thing, $9.95 on goddamn the website that's killing the planet. And it was literally off my face in 10 minutes. I probably could have just, like, buzzed it off, but I didn't want to tax the engine on that thing and totally, torque it out or anything before I just got it. So, that was the inaugural use of the ASFE. AESFEE. The ASFE. It's like a computer, but it's a razor. It's got a little, the little power thing on there, and listen to that. Just boom. One button, simple, sexy. It'll make you sexy. That's our free unpaid advertising. So, I shaved my beard into a plastic bag. Put the plastic bag in the trash. Should I compost it? I don't know. What do you do with that? And I did it kind of in a rush. I had to be at the event yesterday at 4 p.m. I had to be there kind of early to set up. And, which was cool. I'm really happy to be able to spend time there, to be honest. It's awesome to, hey, this is where I want to be. I want to get to know people and hang out and just be friendly and be helpful and be a part of it, So I'm walking, like I said, I got I didn't smoke that much in the day before, but it was earlier. Typically I smoke and then I don't have to be there till like 6 or something. This time I had to be there at 4, so I was like, okay. I don't want to go in. I want to be able to do what I have to do. Like, it's just easier. Particularly at this stage, to just do it with a clear head. I don't get nervous about stuff either as much. I'm way more just like engaged and confident about that stuff. I'm less, oh my God, what am I going to do? Am I being awkward? So, I left here. I shaved my beard starting at like 2:30 or something. I was done, maybe even have been later. I left here around 3:30 or so. And, like I said, according to the fucking map program, it takes 33 minutes the way I was going. Which, I don't really think those things are accurate generally. Maybe I'm wrong, but I have a good mental sense, typically, of how long it takes to get places and, although the past few years I haven't been that punctual because I just wasn't good at anything with that, but, generally speaking, I have a good, mental spatial, okay, I need to get here to that part of town. I can leave at 11:32, and I'll get there at 11:57, and then then I can walk around for 3 minutes and maybe show up at 12:01, so I'm not, psychotically on time. I like to show up kind of soft. Not too late. But I mean, I think the implication with this was show up as close to this time as you can, So, I'm carrying my stuff, which is already heavy. It's 90 degrees. Like I said, I didn't know what to wear, and I recently unboxed all my clothes and stuff. So I've got all these clothes that literally were washed in 2019. So I don't know if they're mildewy or what, but some of them kind of smell kind of mildewy. Even though they're technically clean. I haven't worn them since. And they've just been folded in the fucking bag. The plastic bag for, 2 years, basically. A year and a half. So I'm unpacking that stuff. And it's all my clothes from my life before. Basically, what happened was I just packed all my shit in 2018, and I haven't even really used any of this stuff or even looked at it hardly since then. This camera, these clothes, any of it, the tapes, none of it. It's all basically just been like, the books are the only thing I've really had any, and even those, not much. I haven't gotten to spend as much time with those. So this is the first time I've actually gotten to like use things how I need to use them in 3 years. I'm actually getting to be myself and do things the way that, like, I'm picking up where I left off, sort of, before the valuable experience of that whole thing, which we won't. Well, so I'm walking, and like so I don't know what to wear. And like the thing about video is you kind of need pockets. Typically I'm wearing some kind of shirt that has like a couple pockets, so I can, like, I put a lens here, I'll put a battery here, the SD card, put the charger, and that way I have it on my person, but it's not necessarily in like a, your pants pockets, like that's your keys, your wallet, your phone. I don't want to put anything in my back pockets because you'll sit on it. It's all like electronic stuff. So yesterday I don't know, I didn't know what to do because it was hot, so I couldn't wear a jacket or necessarily even a long sleeve shirt. All of my button shirts are kind of wrinkly and stuff. So I just thought, I don't know. I've been wearing these fucking pants from, I don't even know when. These are probably from the early 2010s. I don't remember where I got them or how or anything. But these are like my A-game pants. They're my skinny black. They're my little black dress. And I wear them on my Tinder dates, if I'm trying to look hot. Not Tinder, Hinge. But like yesterday, they were the only pants I had that were really like clean and like available and stuff. I got to do my laundry. Even though I've been unpacking this stuff, like I said, all this shit's moldy and kind of wrinkly, and like I didn't want to wear shorts, even though I have cargo shorts that have a lot of pockets. That would have been good. I kind of went for the dumb choice because it's slutty summer or whatever. That's not why I picked them. Like I said, I picked them just because like they were at hand, and it was like, I don't know, it's a poetry project. You want to look cool, It's like it's a glamorous scene type thing, and like I think that's fun, So I don't know. I wore these pants on my last couple Tinder dates. They're Forever 21 men, which the name Forever 21 is only getting more poignant as we get further and further from being 21. Like, that was kind of cute and romantic and shit when we were in college and we actually were 21 and even younger than that. Oh, I'm 19. Oh, Forever 21. What? That's funny. And they were dope. I did love Forever 21, obviously. If I were a female identifying person, I probably would have shopped there, and I got my pants there. So I'm all about Forever 21, but are they even relevant? It seems like H&M came in and kind of replaced their business. And I'm not even sure what the thing after that, Zara or, brick and mortar, I'm not sure. A lot of people get that shit. But this is fast fashion, totally. These pants only had a certain shelf life to begin with. And, like, I've gotten a lot of mileage. Like I said, I've been wearing these things probably since 2014 or something. So I wear them anyway to the fucking event because I wanted to look nice. It was like a formal, not formal, but like it was a special thing, and we wanted it to be special. And so I wanted to, like, I didn't want to look, looking clean and neat and like having my clothes fit and stuff. It's like, yeah, that's nice. It's a nice. And so I'm doing the fucking event, and I've got my setup, and I've got, my seat and my tripod, and, the tripod has got that fucking, like, adjustment bar, that you can take off or on that kind of, like, guide the thing, and, between the readings, I'm like trying to like uncross my legs like over the adjustment bar. Like I've got to like lift my leg because it's like sticking because the camera's right here. You know, I'm watching it, so the adjustment bar is like, I don't know if that's what that's called, but I'm just what's gonna call it that. It's so I'm like I gotta like lift my leg over the thing to kind of like uncross my legs to like check something or whatever for my job. Uh, and as I'm like lifting my leg, the fucking pants rip. As you can see, right here along the ass cheek. I mean, they didn't. You couldn't see anything. Maybe you could. I don't know. My underwear was black. That was a lucky choice. I remember thinking because I have all this green underwear for some reason. I think I bought all this green underwear because it was like the cheapest. You know, it was 6 for $10 or something. So I have all these fucking green boxer briefs, which I typically wear. And maybe that would have looked cool too, but last night I went with the black Hanes boxer brief, which thank God I did because it really blended right in. I think, I don't know, I didn't see my own ass, but like, as far as I could tell, you couldn't even really tell that it was split. But that's what I get for trying to be a middle-aged hoe bag, slipping back into my old little black dress or whatever, ripping it all up with my big fat ass. That happened like kind of right before the reading was gonna start, and just like it was one of, you know, anytime your shit rips, it's just like, oh, that's the cost. I mean, I really just like I went all out last night. There was no, it was like I'm just gonna live it up. I haven't gotten to do this in over a fucking. I never really got to do this. I never got to party at the Poetry Project and just be relaxed and like talk to people and be cool and hang out and just be there for real and not worry about anybody getting mad at me or whatever. I could just do it and not worry about it. And I get to walk there, you know, it's half an hour from my place. So it's like, what could be better? Like, my life is totally amazing. Like, I'm so lucky, you know, and grateful. Thank you. And, so I don't know, it wasn't a huge deal, but now I don't know what am I gonna wear on my hinge dates. I don't have any pants that are this fucking fetching. I do kind of need to do. I mean, I probably should get rid of some of these clothes. I mean, I've been holding on to them for a long time. Some of them I've never worn. A lot of them, really. And I need to get some new stuff. So that's something I need to take some of the money I have to go out and have a, like, you know, movie montage makeover sequence where I just like buy some nice clothes that fit. And I mean, I already shaved, so I don't look like a Cro-Magnon anymore, like Encino Man. But I mean, these pants are kind of cool, I guess. I should have wore these yesterday. I thought even these don't have good pockets though. So like, yeah, these pants, it's like, you know, I was putting my lenses. Basically, this is what I wore. I wore this white shirt and these fucking pants. I didn't have any pockets, you know, or I took my flannel to wrap the camera in to make sure that it was safe. And if it got cold, I could put the flannel on. But it didn't really get that cold. I don't think I put the flannel on at any point. Maybe I did later in the evening. I don't remember. I was pretty wasted, to be honest. I think I did sort of black out to some degree. Like, there were, like, we did this Exquisite Corpse piece, and there were things that I wrote in it that I don't remember really that well writing. Even though I didn't drink that much. I mean, it was, you know, it was a catered free event, you know, so I had one glass of white wine, I would have had more white wine, but they ran out of it. I don't like to mix stuff, but they ran out of the white wine, so I wasn't going to stop drinking. And I had, like I said, I had one glass of each, and then I had 2 Coronas. But mixing it, I shouldn't really be drinking beer. Now I'm remembering why I don't drink beer. It's not, to be honest, I don't like drinking anything, to be honest. White wine is okay. That's about all. I really enjoy drinking, to be honest. Like, I don't like liquor, not even mixed drinks. I mean, in the state the other night, we had these whiskey gingers, which were delicious, but the pop, that's not good. You know, the sugary, syrupy pop is not good. And brown liquor is not good either, really. That's kind of intense. I mean, a clear liquor, maybe, like a vodka tonic, that's kind of crisp. And I think vodka technically is like maybe the least harmful alcohol, maybe. I think I've heard that somewhere. That would make sense because it does seem like maybe the closest to like water. It's clear. Maybe it's not the closest to water. I mean, beer, I guess, is close to water because it's only 5%. Is it? I don't know. Vodka seems, because it's clear and like simple or something, like it doesn't feel. It's a potato. I don't know. Maybe sake is better. I don't know. Sake is not as clear though. It's a cloudy. That's right. The rice residue though. Vodka is like, it seems like it's super filtered or purified or I don't know, distilled or whatever. I don't know. And even red wine is like, it's kind of too heavy for me. White wine is nice, it's light, it pairs well with the things I like to eat. It's close to water. It's not going to fuck you up super bad. You're not necessarily, I mean, the thing with wine is like the sugar or whatever, like I used to do cider or I do, champagne. Like champagne has just got way too much. The carbonation doesn't work well for me. It's bad for my teeth, I feel like. So it's hard, in these dates to figure out what to drink, to be honest, because I don't drink. And like I've just been kind of doing it because like it's at somewhat, I haven't done it hardly at all in years. So it has been kind of a weird, I have drank about once a week, I'd say, for the past month, which is somewhat unusual. But I'm just letting off steam because of the damn pandemic, and like it's just easier with these meetups because otherwise the date I went to Roosevelt Island, we didn't drink. Yankee Stadium, I did buy beers that cost $30, but I wanted to even out the transaction. She provided the tickets. She would have liked me a lot better if I didn't have the beard. I know it. She may have even liked me. But I think she was kind of pissed about the beard. So let's see. I had that was like equivalent to maybe 3 Bud Lights, I'd say, at Yankee Stadium. I had, I think, 2 Rolling Rocks at Johnny's Bar. I had 2 Whiskey Gingers at Johnny's Bar. That was a week and a half later. And then last night I had a white wine, a red wine, and 2 Coronas. So that's not really like, your average person, that's nothing. That's like probably low. Low alcohol intake. And that was over the period of, 3 or 4 weeks, I'd say. And prior to that, I hadn't drank at all in a year. It's just like it does make things a little bit easier socially, to be honest. Like last night, I was having a great time, and I was like doing better socially. Early in the night, it doesn't matter as much. I don't feel like everybody's kind of like in this warming up, like awkward, or just like it's sober and you're there's a formality to it and a pleasantness to it. And then kind of you drink as you're there at the reception, then the event happens, And then after the event, the ideal being, okay, we're starting to have fun. People are starting to, loosen up. And then you're hanging out. Maybe you want to go somewhere afterwards. That's what we did last night. We were hanging out in the plaza. Well, first we started hanging out in the kitchen, after we sort of put everything away, which, I don't know. I suppose we're being a little bit lax because I wasn't wearing a mask. And I don't think anybody else was either. We were distanced, like we were standing kind of far apart. But like I said, I went from white wine to red wine to Corona because that's what they had. Like, I think they ran out all the wine, so it was like there was no open wine, so it was like I switched to the Corona. Which, it's not good to mix that stuff. That's what creates the weird. Like today, I don't feel super hungover, although I did wake up at 6 a.m. like I used to in the good old days when I drank more, up until the time I was about 27. It was pretty normal for me if I drank too much, I'd wake up at really early in the morning and just like not be able to get back to sleep and kind of have all this energy and like a kind of a clarity and sometimes even like a really nice feeling, like a really like placid and then kind of like really inspired. Actually, some hangovers are some of the most productive, brilliant times of my life. I don't enjoy them at all. Not the hangover, the time before the hangover. From that 6 a.m. till about 10 or 11 a.m. when you crash and you fall back asleep, you can have some profound, because you're still drunk, but you're kind of like sober. There's like a clarity and like you have all this energy. I don't know. For whatever reason, alcohol gives me all this like, I'm a little more aggressive. I'm less timid. I'm less kind of questioning myself. I'm probably a lot more likable at times, It's not always necessary. It's not necessary, really. But to me, it is like having like a power boost or something. Like 9 nights out of 10, I will not do that at all. Or maybe I'll have one glass of wine or something. Maybe. But if I'm not the kind of person, my body just can't tolerate it. My health, whatever problems I have, which are mysterious, I can't drink that much. My body has, I get tingling in my arms and legs and shit. Like, although to be honest, like I said, I feel pretty good today. I don't really have a headache. And I was sort of able to get back to sleep at like 7 or 8 till like 11:30. So, I mean, it wasn't a great sleep, but to be honest, like there's just a lot of noise on this street. There's a playground across the street and a school, and there's construction that starts real early. They start like 7 or 8. They come pick up the trash Tuesdays and Saturdays, and they're super loud. And that's like at 6 a.m. I've been woken up by them a lot of times because it's just really fucking loud. And, the bedrooms in this apartment are on the street, so you hear it, It's no big deal, but there's a lot of things that might wake you up, And I don't know. I've been kind of liking waking up. This week I've been waking up at like 9:17 a.m. I think that's a good. It's not so early that's like painful. You can kind of stay up a little bit late. You can stay up to like maybe 1 or 2, and that's okay. It's still 7-8 hours, which is good. I like sleeping 9 or 10, of course. But I don't want to sleep till 11:30 every fucking day, necessarily. I don't mind now that I live alone. I'll sleep whenever the fuck I want. That's the beauty of living alone. It's when you have to live on other. That's what was so painful about being home for a year. My mom woke up at like 4:30 in the morning, 5 in the morning sometimes, or 6. She'd be up by 6 or 7. So it's like you hear everything in that apartment, I mean, it was good for what it was, but it's nice to have a little bit of control over that now, So, on my way to the reading, I'm walking. I chose to go up Greenwich Avenue because I just love Greenwich Avenue. It's my favorite road right now. It's just fun. I get slipped right down 8th, boom, left on Greenwich, and that takes you right to the heart of the village. It takes you to Jefferson Market Library and all of that. 6th Ave, over by West 4th Street Stop and Washington Square. And so I walked down Greenwich Ave, and then I turned left, and I was debating, what do I want to turn left on? 11th, 12th, 10th? Because there's various reasons to turn on each street, but I'm thinking, which one haven't I, 12th has some cool stuff, like that location from, They All Laughed is on that, where John Ritter sleeps in the lobby, that apartment's there, so it's, kind of cool to walk by that sometimes, or shit like that, 11th has, the new school is on 11th, and then St. Vincent's Hospital, I think, is on 11th, which is, a really beautiful building. And then 10th has, some shit. I don't know. There's different shit. I haven't walked on 10th in a while, so it's maybe I'll check that out. But for whatever reason, I chose to walk on 11th because I thought it'd be faster, I think. And so I'm walking, I think it was right past the new school, maybe. I forget if it was before or after the new school. It was, it was around NYU, north of Washington Square. It was approaching 5th Avenue, I feel like. And I see on this fucking stoop, there's all this stuff laid out, and there was a door open at the top of the stoop. There wasn't a moving truck or anything, so I'm assuming the stuff was fair game. I'm assuming that it was left out to be given away. And it was there was a vase. I don't even remember. There was a fucking wardrobe bag hanging on the fucking, banister. Shit like that. Stuff you'd give away. I don't remember what else was there. But it was kind of academic. It was all kind of color coordinated in a way. It was all navy blue and black and stuff. I would have taken more stuff, but the crown jewel and the thing I did end up taking, even though I had my tripod bag with 2 fucking tripods in it and my camera, and so that thing weighs 40 pounds already, I could not pass this up because I'd literally been looking for one of these for 10 fucking years because you really need this. It's got all the etymologies in it, and I found it, I saw one of these once in Housing Works. It was $30, which maybe I should have bought it, but it's huge. It's just a massive, and I saw it on the stoop, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I had to make a snap decision because I'm like, there's nobody here. Nobody's coming in and out. I got to be at work. Are they giving this away? Should I wait to ask? Should I just take it? It's kind of huge. I'm just like, fuck it. This thing is on the stoop. I'm on my way to this poetry reading. This thing is clearly meant for me. I picked this street today. I could have gone on 12th. I could have gone on 10th. But I picked 11th. So I happened upon this stoop on my way. And I had to fucking get this thing because I've been looking for one for 10 years, and they're hard to find. You can't really order this. It's the compact edition of the Oxford English Dictionary. It's 2 volumes, volume A to O, volume P to Z, and it's this thing in and of itself weighs 20 fucking pounds. It's really heavy because it's the thing about it is. What's cool about it, this edition in particular, this was the one that I saw in Housing Works because it has this little fucking tray in the top, and what goes in the tray is a fucking magnifying glass. Because the only way, the real Oxford English Dictionary is an entire room. It's just massive. Every fucking dictionary is this big, and it's A through AE, because the Oxford English Dictionary has got all of the etymologies, which is like the root of the word, where it came from, among other things, I think. You know, the Oxford English Dictionary is absolutely like the standard. It is the number, and it makes sense that you'd find it at that place in the West Village on 11th Street near the New School near NYU, where academics live, where people who understand and appreciate what this even is. It's different than other dictionaries, okay? it's not it's not like a Webster's Second Abridged or Collegiate or anything. It's like, so this is the compact version. So what they do is they shrink the fucking pages down. You can't see it probably, but there's 4 pages on every page. So that's why you need the magnifying glass, because the fucking typeface is so small that you can't fucking read it. Well, you can. I can read it without the magnifying glass. Like, here you go. Scribism, the teaching and literature of the ancient Jewish scribes. The quality of the scribes. 1657, J. Watts, scribe, Pharisee, etc. 11:2-3. As of all the other your text alleged against us, so of this and the scribism of the same. Oh, these are usages, I see. Okay. Wow, that's amazing. There's like first usages. Stevenson. Scribe, a tool for scribing. Scribe. In technical uses, originally in carpentry to mark the intended outline of a piece of timber with one point of a pair of compasses moved parallel with the other point, which is drawn along the edge of the piece to which the scribed piece is to be fitted. Now, in wider sense, to mark or score wood, metal, bricks with a pointed instrument, often regulated by a gauge or similar contrivance in order to indicate the outline to which the piece is to be cut or shaped, to draw a line, etc. in this way. Wow. Yeah, so it's just got shit like that, it's as a poet or as a writer, I mean, especially as a poet, like a lot of what poets do is like returning the word to its most potent sense, which is often its original sense, and there's kind of embedded scribe. You can tell there's something that's like chipping about that, or like etching. Scribe, it's like scrape. That's deep in the word, that like it's not just about like, oh, I'm a writer. It's like you're scribing something. Like it said, it almost has this gauge component, like a protractor or something. So that's an element. If you're going to use that word as precisely as possible, then it's going to have probably that intonation reflected in it. So, for a tool, you can do this online. I think now they have like an Oxford English Dictionary that you can subscribe to for like $100 a year or something, and I'm sure that's a lot easier. I'm sure like, you don't have to carry this fucking thing around like. Like it's just in your phone, and in fact the fucking definitions and stuff are probably more up to date and more in depth. But I don't know, I've always wanted a compact edition of the Oxford English Dictionary and it just felt like it was sitting right there for me. I thought, well, here's another dimension of it. I thought it'd be a good conversation piece for one thing, because I was going to a poetry reading. It's like, if anybody is going to understand the value of this, it would be, if it's not people at the Poetry Project, then God help me, because they're, it's somewhat of an obscure item. It's not necessarily a household thing. Like maybe, I don't know, was it ever the Oxford English Dictionary? Like it is somewhat different than having an encyclopedia. Like the Oxford English Dictionary, it's different even than having like Webster's or anything. And for me personally, right, so my nickname when I was in second grade, when I was the smart kid, the teacher asked us what the meaning of AM and PM were. And to be honest, I went home and asked my dad. I didn't know. But I came in the next day and I told everybody what my dad told me. And everybody thought all of a sudden I was a smart kid. So my nickname became the Walking Dictionary, which I think I've talked about this before, but because, to be honest, that is the appropriate nickname for what I was, because I was defining the term. So that's what a dictionary does. I was thinking about it more like, my real talent in elementary school or middle school when I was a smart kid was like memorizing facts, memorizing geography, presidential facts, history stuff, but also debating or like seeing dimensions to the issue. I was good in math. I was good in whatever there was in elementary school and fucking middle school and shit for the most part. But it's interesting to me that was the nickname, the Walking Dictionary. Because here I was yesterday carrying this fucking, the biggest dictionary you could really carry probably by yourself. And I literally was a walking dictionary on my way to the poetry project. I thought about maybe titling one of my chapbooks "Walking Dictionary." It's a good term, I feel like that's a good thing to be labeled with. That was a good indication of, who I really was and what I would become. The dictionary is so it's a poet's tool. It's the material. Every book of poetry is in the Oxford English Dictionary. So I took the dictionary. I carried it I had my fucking tripod with my two tripods. So now I'm carrying my tripod bag slung over me and the Oxford English Dictionary. And it was like, I think I was between what? I was between, between 5th and 6th, or was I between 6th and 7th? And I had to walk to 2nd and 10th. So I was on 11th between, I think 5th and 6th maybe. So I had to walk 4 blocks or something, carrying all this shit. But I knew that poets would appreciate our, I thought it was a kind of a funny. But I also wanted it. I thought, yeah, this is worth it. I can manage this. It's not the heaviest fucking thing. Even though it's 80 degrees out and I'm sweating, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. It wasn't that bad to carry it 4 blocks. And like I said, I've only found one in a store and it was $40. I figured whatever the cab ride home was going to be cheaper than $30. So it's basically, I paid, my cab ride home at the end of the night was $14.82 or something, which is absurd. I took a cab from 15th Street and 1st Avenue to here, 9th Avenue and 21st Street essentially, and it was $15. That's like 6 blocks. That's what? That's 7, 8, let's say that's 12 blocks. That's completely insane. That's $1 per block. I was hoping it would cost like $7 or $8, or like $9 or $10, but almost $15. I mean, that's with a 20% tip. But would an Uber have cost that much? I hate to ask, but I imagine an Uber would have cost $7 or $8. To be honest, I took the cab because I thought it would be a nicer thing to do to support. That's how I'm using my money now that I have a little bit of it and my time and energy. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to indulge a little bit. I'm going to drink a little bit. I'm going to spend a little, not a lot of money, but like, I would never take a cab anywhere. But it's like, I've already got these fucking tripods and shit. I've got this OAD. I'm getting paid a very small amount of money to do this. So let's just say that I'm taking that out of the check, I can write it off on my taxes. I'll save the receipt. And it's just like, there was no way I was carrying it back. You know, there's no way I was going to carry it a mile and a half home. It's just too goddamn big. Too much knowledge and language. So, I show up to the fucking, you know, like, how much would that cab ride have cost in the 70s? $3 or something? Who knows? My friend tells me they were in a workshop with Wayne Kaustenbaum, who was saying that one of the assignments was to look up words in the dictionary that you didn't know the meanings of and use those words in a poem. And I had heard this story about Frank O'Hara. Frank O'Hara said that he would read a page of the dictionary every day. And you see that. You see that in both of their work, I think. You see words that are like unusual, that you've never seen before. And there's almost like a... I mean, that's definitely scoring you points on the poetry scoreboard or whatever. You know, like, it's cool. I think that's great. And I was so appreciative to have that conversation because it gave me... it just kind of gave me a couple of uses for it immediately. You know, this is why it's so valuable to go to Poetry Project and why I'm so excited to, like, get involved and talk to people and because you just pick up stuff, you know. Oh, here's something that now I can use that. Now when I'm sitting around reading my dictionary, my Oxford English compact, I can look up words I don't know the meanings of and use them in poems. And that will give me power. That's what workshops are good for, I feel like. They do kind of give you... Every time I've written recently, to be honest, every time I do a writing exercise in a workshop, it almost always turns out to be something I can use. Not that I have used any of it, but it seems like something I can use. I've used it in my own stuff. Maybe not necessarily, it's not been published per se, but so yeah, it was a nice, you know, it was a beautiful... I was a little more courageous. I talked to people. I was just friendly. I'm just trying to picture it like everybody, we're just all on a first name basis with here and that, you know. I'm not trying to look at like, oh my God, that's some giant of poetry or something. It's like, oh yeah, that's just Charles. That's just so-and-so, you know. It's like, we're all just here. You know, the pandemic has kind of like, not necessarily humbled, but like, I think we're a little bit more appreciative and genuine, and I mean, I've definitely noticed that with my dates. The rejections I'm getting are way kinder, and there's women have way more patience. They're way more understanding right now. They're reaching out to you. Who knows how long that will last. You know, as things are picking up and sort of, you know, kicking back into normalcy, the economy's kicking into normal gear, jobs. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see the convulsions of that, if there are any, if there's any resistance to that, if there's any serious resistance as far as not going back to work or striking or not going back to the status quo. It does seem like it's just kind of picking up where it left off again. I don't like that. I want everybody to enjoy leisure and being able to hang out, and that's what I'm trying to cultivate here by hanging out with people, going out with people afterwards, and hopefully I can, you know, host people here even. You know, if people wanted to come here after the reading, it's not that far, really. And, you know, we can listen to music, we can smoke, we can just, you know, have a place indoors, whatever. So what ended up happening was It was nice. Yeah, I told Charles Bernstein I was a big fan. He kind of was cool about it. He said, thanks. And then I sort of told him, about what we're going to be doing with the recording. I said, I wasn't exactly sure, but I said, it's for archival purposes, but there was a live stream and there, the recording will be, we can send it to you. It will probably be private or something, but we can send you a copy if you would like to see it. And he was talking about pin sound a little bit. He was like, we could post, selections from the reading on pin sound. So I'm not exactly sure. I don't know what they want to do with it, or I'm not in any, I don't really know anything about that. But it was nice to have a conversation, not be, we didn't it wasn't super deep or, it was very brief, but it was like, I've been reading his books a lot, and that's basically what I said. I said, I love Pin Sound, listen to that. Yeah, I was just kind of fun, but I was being honest, I am a fan. I've been reading a lot of his shit recently, that's one reason why I love going to these events. It's like, holy shit, here I am in fucking St. Mark's, sacred ground for American experimental writing, according to Charles Bernstein. That's what he said. And I was so honored to film the Erica Hunt event because she has personally been, honestly, better to me than anybody in poetry. Maybe with the exception of the people at the Poetry Project, but they are all completely responsible for whatever sense of involvement I have, and I really look up to Erica Hunt a lot as a poet. And I think that everybody should be reading and learning from their style, their aesthetic, their intelligence, their genius. And so it was just a total honor to be. I'm trying to expand it a little bit. I'm shooting B-roll, a little bit of behind the scenes, but not too much. I haven't been able to really... But I'm, it's a little bit at a time. This is only the second event, and I'm also just kind of we're all just warming up in a way because it's like I said, it's amazing that I've, because now I get to be myself. Now I get to be open and friendly and actually, now that Trump's not the president, and now that we've had this experience of the pandemic to I don't know, put things in perspective or whatever, it's just let's just all be friendly. We're all just people. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter how big you are, how big of a genius you are, how famous you are, how big of a celebrity you are, how influential you are, how much of a hero you are. I also saw this interview with fucking Martin Short on Charles Grodin where he talks about how meeting his heroes was always bad. He was always horrible at it. And he tells all these stories about every time, he met Bob Hope and he was just so awkward. He gave him a hug. He gave him a low hug. And he was 90 years old. He said, you don't do that. So he, and he gave a number of examples of older celebrities. And his point was kind of well, it's not really about that. You're not really peers, he's peers with Eugene Levy and Christopher Guest and, Steve Martin and stuff. He's not. So, whatever way, I would like to be just friendly and part of the conversation with all these people. I'd love to be having conversations with all of the fucking poets and just be another person there. But it does feel you have to step into that. You have to step into that echelon, and it is a little bit intimidating. But, the Poetry Project is a great place to do it because it is a conversation and the people are there. Not necessarily, but the point being it doesn't have to be about that. To be honest, it's also more about just becoming friends with the people who are your age and the younger generation. And like, okay, like Martin Short, maybe he had an awkward moment with Bob Hope. It's like, okay, yeah, but me and the photographer are having a great time. We're peers. We're the same age, more or less. We're the younger, or the sound, my friend, the sound guy, my friend, the person who does the box office, my friend, the person who's, taking, we're all there to just like be a part of this community. That's one of the reasons why I feel like I want to be a part of it, because it's a community that I get, I feel like, and it feels like maybe there's a sense of belonging and a sense that you want to contribute to it because you admire, but also just feel like an affinity with the tradition, the people there, the vibe, the integrity, the depth. Just like the countless unbelievably fucking genius shit that's happened there night after night for almost 60 fucking years, like to even be connected to that at all is like an immense life-changing like honor. So we were hanging out in the kitchen after we wrapped everything up. Everybody's good. It all happens nicely. People are all stacking chairs. Everybody's contributing. I'm breaking the lights down. Sound guy's breaking sound guy's stuff down. Breaking tables down. The catering people are wrapping up. They're putting stuff in, wrapping it up. Saran wrap. The leftover beer and liquor is going in the fridge. We're hanging in the kitchen, wondering where the after party's at. drinking the. That's where they put all the alcohol as the party, and they have to kind of wind up early there because it is a church, and like, I don't know. I was thinking the other day it'd be sweet if they could have a rave there. Why can't they just have some kind of nutty party? It was really amazing. I mean, it's just as far as the setting goes, you couldn't get any more like breathtaking and significant. Just like the writing, the people, and the church itself. It's just it's got layers and 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 layers. And then it ended up, so we had to leave at a certain time. They get a lockup and everything. So we ended up, there's a little plaza out front where the lion statue is, out front of the church, on the corner of 2nd Avenue and 10th Street. Tons of poets mention it in their work. Tons. Paul Blackburn, fucking anybody probably, there's some, So we're hanging out. God, do I really... I'm still feeling frustrated about this because I did have a great time. I mean, I had a super great time. We were, it was like that was exactly what I've been wanting to do when I got out of my last situation before the pandemic. The pandemic kind of interrupted. This is what I was coming back to New York to do. Exactly this. Exactly. It couldn't be any better. Literally, it just set me up in the best possible. I'm so grateful. I'm so lucky. I just want to sustain this as long as I can and, do it well and do it right and have fun. Have the time of my life. And, this summer, of course, is going to be something interesting, and hopefully a big release, and hopefully a big healing. Let the healing begin. Let's have some fun. Let's burn out the pain with good vibes, good feeling. And for me, yeah, I want to reconnect with friends. I want to make new friends. I want to actually be a part of this. These are poets. These are people I have in common with. They get it. They know it. We all, we can talk about this. These are the collaborators. These are the people who, push you and help you develop each other. And so it was. God, let me just talk about it. Maybe I won't post this, but I'll just talk about it. It was me, James, Anna, and two. I didn't know who they were, but it was. I thought they were a couple at first. It was this taller. I didn't even get introduced to her or anything at any point. But she was kind of taller. She was probably, I don't know, about my height maybe. Maybe was she taller than me? Maybe she was taller than me. I don't know. But she was just really cool and skinny but like in an already, like already clothes, just totally downtown New York and just like and she's with. I thought like maybe there were a couple. I had noticed her earlier on in the night because she was talking to John Godfrey at length, and I was just like, man, John Godfrey is a lucky dude. Like, I can't believe he's like there's still just like these young women that are just like going up and talking to him, and like good for you, man. Like, I wish I was I wish I was John Godfrey. And she was talking to various people. She was talking to Charles Bernstein and and this person and that person. I'm like, wow, that person's like just like really getting it done. Cool. But then they were with a guy, so I was like, I wasn't sure what the deal was. And then when we got in the kitchen, we were all kind of just like the last people hanging out. We were there. We were the kind of long haulers or whatever. And they're standing over by the refrigerator, and I just noticed they're kind of just like vibing me. They're just like, they're both like super. I don't know. I'm just being friendly and trying to be positive in conversations and contribute my little thing to keep the conversation going on and try to say the smartest, wittiest, funniest, most pleasant stuff I can. And so, I don't know. I'm having a good time. I'm really enjoying everybody. I love everybody. They're all great. To be honest, they're all fantastic. I'm so glad I'm actually finally getting to know them. Like, we have a lot in common, and like, everybody's nice. We're all, and it's fun. Going to do these events is like, you feel like a little kid going to like build a fort or something. It's like we're all on our hands and knees, like putting the lights together, putting the things up, putting the chairs out, speakers out, putting cables out, like running cables. And it's like nobody's ordering you to do anything. Nobody's saying, hey, are you doing this? Hey, where's this? Why are it's just like, it's very organic. You pick, you do it, and it just works. It's a harmony. Everybody's nice. The director is so nice. It's just I'm so happy to be there, and it's just good feeling. We're putting this thing on. It's my dream, and it's absolutely my drive to like help. I'm happy to do it. Very much so. And so, because the people there are just incredible. Like, the poets are incredible. They're the best poets in the fucking world, to be honest. Like, all other writing is shit. Like, I've tried to subsist on whatever else was going on, and there's some cool shit. I've definitely I've been glad to be on this kind of tour and like got into all these other styles of writing over the past few years all across the country. But like I'm really happy to be back, and these are the best writers in the fucking world. Okay, I'm sorry, but these are the best writers in the fucking America, definitely. Not only here, but like the highest concentration and the best work is in the highest volume. Absolutely, at not only in New York City, but specifically in the Poetry Project at St. Mark's Church. The people who filter through, if I had to pick any like everybody that goes there, if they're on your like your list of stylistic people that you admire and you think are the best, it would definitely be St. Mark's Church. Absolutely. It's institutionally, it's got the best writers. Bar none. Bar fucking none. Anywhere, any university, anything you want to put it up against, no doubt about it. Whoever's gone through there, whoever's read there, if you put them on that list versus like a university, whoever taught there or whatever, or whoever went to school there, whatever, it's like it's Poetry Project, no doubt about it. These are the greatest writers in the fucking English speaking world, no doubt about it. At least in America. And we're number one. So I don't know. I noticed that the male is sort of flamboyantly dressed. They've got like a yellow shirt and their nipples are kind of out in a cool way, cutoffs and just like really fucking cool and shit. But like, so they're both vibing me. Probably because I shaved. If I would have had some huge beard, I probably would have come off as kind of scary and kind of grody, and but like I said, I have a nice face, and so it works, so why not? And so they're both vibing me, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I definitely can pick up on it, and I appreciate it, but like that's not really why I'm there. And I mean, I was definitely trying to prolong the whole interaction as long as possible with everybody because I was having a good time. And if people wanted to hang out afterwards in the plaza, then that's what I was down. So that's what we did. The gentleman excused himself, I guess he had to go home maybe. And so it was me and James and Anna, and I didn't know who she was, to be honest. I never got introduced. But we were having a nice time. We're sitting on the bench out front, and like we're all just talking, and I'm loose because I've had 4 drinks, and we start smoking. So they're sitting. It's me and James on the bench, and the two. It wasn't planned that way. That's just the way it happened. But so we're all kind of talking. We're all having a good time. Blah blah blah. It's just like. The energy's good, but clearly just like something is happening probably between me and, this girl. Thank God. I don't know why. It just, she kind of looked like my friend Kiki in a way, so I felt like a kind of a recognition. I felt like kind of like a comfort, And so just like, and she was just really smart. We just spoke. There were certain things she said. We didn't really go into it super deep, but there were certain things she said that was just like, oh my God, really? Like, Jonas Berry, John Ashbery's, pen name in his French pornographic novels that he like wrote these for money, I guess, in the 60s. His pen name was Jonas Berry, because that's kind of sounds how French people pronounce John Ashbery. Jonas Berry. Jonas Berry. So she had mentioned, I heard her say something about Jonas Berry, and I was like, oh my God. This girl knows about Jonas Berry. Like that shit happens constantly in conversations with people at the Poetry Project, and it makes sense because that's where this literature is centered. That's where all these books I've been reading and all the people in them and all the poets and writers and names and facts like that. You know, this anecdote about Jonas Berry, I'm sure I read that in some book that was published by somebody at the Poetry Project. You know, probably Ron Padgett mentioned that or something like that. And so it makes sense that you would have these connections, you know. And there were a few things like that. She said something about how she worked at Anthology Film Archives or something. It's like that. I love it. I love that place, you know. But I wasn't really trying to like key into that too much. I wasn't like trying to like make it about me and her and like, you know, trying to isolate and get out of there. I thought things would happen organically. You know, she seemed to be committed to the interaction. We all were hanging out. I felt like things, if they just went as they were going, people would kind of peel away in a way that was like organic. We were enjoying hanging out. You know, I wasn't in any rush to like, oh my god, like this is on. Like I didn't necessarily get that vibe per se. I didn't really feel like if I would have like tried to like isolate with this girl, it would have like gotten to be some kind of super, you know, like physical thing per se. But it's just like we were vibing big time and like we were enjoying, and like she got a joint out. I think I maybe got, because I took my I got this free pre-roll which is massive. I think it's like 1 gram or something. You know, one of these costs $20 when you buy it. They gave it to me for free, so I was kind of saving it for a special occasion. And I was kind of hoping to live off of it because I ran out, you know, yesterday. And I just thought, I'm going to need this pre-roll to kind of like, I want to coast on this as long as possible. You know, ideally I don't want to buy more than $100 a month. And so I'm almost to about that time. I think the last time I bought was maybe like April 20 something. I forget exactly the day, but it's been almost a month. But not so I thought the pre-roll could kind of extend. But so I brought it to the reading last night because I thought, I don't know, you never know. I didn't have anything else like rolled, although in retrospect I probably should have just rolled a tiny joint and taken that instead, because somehow we smoked like half this thing, you know, which is like absurd. I don't know how that happened, because like it was totally massive, and like I was saying, I was hoping it would last me like, you know, that thing, to be honest, probably could have lasted me 5 days with the amount of weed. Maybe probably 4, you know, at least 4 days. Now it's like I'm almost done with it. It'll probably last for the rest of today, to be honest. And so like, but we were vibing, and like she got out a joint, which I didn't expect. She got out like a little half joint thing. And so I was like, okay, I'll get out my joint, and like we were sharing it. You know, I'm assuming I trusted her, but to me that was kind of a symbolic, you know, if you're willing to share a joint with somebody, that's sort of like, and we were sharing it. The other 2 people were not smoking. So it seemed like things were going well, you know, between us, even though the conversation was balanced and I'm talking to everybody, and like I wasn't super keyed in like on like I'm trying to make this happen right now immediately. It was like, hey, this person's cool, but like, you know, just because somebody's vibing you in that way, that doesn't mean like this is going down immediately right now. And I don't know, maybe I got distracted, but we ended up writing this fucking exquisite corpse. Somehow we found a piece of paper. I don't know, maybe it was in the dictionary. But I got my pen out and I started writing. I handed it to James, and he wrote, and then she wrote, and then, you know, so we wrote this exquisite corpse. We wrote this poem together, everybody that was there, the 4 people. You know, I was just trying to hang out. This has been my dream. I've been trying to hang out with poets. I should have filmed it. I don't know why I didn't. It was fucking stupid as hell. Because she's a filmmaker, I think. Or she works at Anthology Film Archive. She probably knows Jonas Mekas, you know, like my hero. and she knew Taylor Meade and she knew John Giorno. So it's like, I did, like I said, I didn't really know who she was. I didn't even get her name, but like it was clear that she was connected and like kind of a downtown, cool person. So we wrote this piece and we're hanging out and blah blah blah, and then I forget who it was, but like somebody initiated the like, okay, well, probably should head out or whatever. So we all kind of stood up, and I thought everybody was going to go home. I thought that's what was happening. I thought everybody, because it was still kind of early. I think it was probably 10:30, maybe between 10:30 and 11. And I thought everybody was just going to go home. I thought that's what that was. But what ended up happening was, so we smoked like her little half of a joint. We somehow smoked a lot of this fucking massive joint, which was so dumb as fuck. But I mean, it was a special occasion, and whatever. I just indulged a lot. I spent money. I drank more than I typically do. A lot of different kinds of stuff. I was eating the hors d'oeuvres. I lit the dosi cheese. I'm looking at this wrong way because it was free, to be honest. Like, it's not like I'm. It's all free. It's all been free. So, how can I be mad that I used it? And I got to use it with this person. That was cool. I don't know. It was like a special ceremonial thing. Maybe that's dumb, but maybe that was the right. I didn't really feel high. I was, after we smoked it, I wasn't like, whoa, I'm like blazed. I was just feeling kind of good. I was feeling that confidence and that kind of boisterous, kind of bold, adrenaline that you get when you are intoxicated and you drink. And so now we're smoking on top of it. It didn't really, I don't know, it didn't like put me into some kind of super zone necessarily. Any more than I was, I'd say. Maybe it did, I don't know. But so she goes up to James, the sound guy, and she's like something about how she has like a garden or something where she books readings, and she's like, yeah, I'd like to book you for like she does this like in front of us as we're saying goodbye. We're just standing there watching this. She's like, yeah, so I want to book a reading, so like maybe I can get your contact information. So she takes his phone number. She's like, yeah, and then she's like, yeah, I'd love to get you guys on too. And she says it almost like it's like an after fucking thought or something. She does not get our contact information. She doesn't get our phone number. We don't get her phone number. I didn't even get her name. And then she just leaves. So I'm like, what the fuck? I thought at the very least probably everybody would split off. They would go their way to go home, and then maybe perhaps we would split off into some kind of situation, like walking to the train or whatever. I just figured that stuff would kind of happen naturally. If it was like going to happen, and if like I wasn't necessarily trying to manage logistics. And to be honest, like I don't necessarily think that's where we were at. I may have had like a pleasant walk to the train station with her, but I don't really think like we were going to get into a cab or anything. Like and that's just as well. The other thing is I'm not really trying to get a super reputation right away, as being, I don't know, opportunistic about that, within that community, to be honest. So like, but it has been a while, and like it was totally natural, and it was nice. It was totally consensual, and like I mean, God, it's been 4 years, like and it's been a year since the pandemic, so it's like, Jesus Christ, like I'm just so ready. I am just so fucking ready. So it's like any kind of missed opportunity feels like. So what ends up happening is where I think we're all going to say goodbye. She breaks off after getting James' phone number and just leaves. And what ends up is we're standing there and we go, okay, well, you guys want to hang out? Yeah, let's go to a bar. So we all go to a bar, and immediately as we're leaving, they sort of break out and they go, what the fuck? What are you doing? What happened? Like, we thought you were going to pull. We thought it was done. We thought for sure that you, and they were like, we felt bad. We should have excused ourselves. They're like, I feel bad that I stayed because we should have excused ourselves because, like, we thought you were, and like I said, I wasn't really making that big of a deal out of it in my head. I mean, of course it was disappointing because, like, that's how this shit always goes. Anytime you meet somebody you want to spend time with them, they always kind of, like, make it, whoa, you know, like, let's pace this out. You know, I'm not like that. I'm a romantic. I'm ready to, like, let's spend the whole night talking. Let's talk about Jonas Berry. Let's talk about everything. Like, thank God. Like, we were just in a fucking pandemic for a year. I've got an apartment 10 blocks from here. Let's go. Like, we don't have to do anything necessarily, but, like, let's just fucking, like, listen to music. Let's smoke. Let's just have a nice conversation, have a nice time, you know. Why not? I don't know. I know that, you know, for women it's harder to indulge that stuff because men are dogs and they don't call them and shit. So it's not that easy. But it just it was a, like, that's what I was hoping would happen, but, like, I wasn't super like, oh my God, what happened? Like, I was kind of surprised actually by their, like, what the fuck, we thought you were gonna, you know, because it's like I wasn't. But that kind of stuff can be very hard to, you know, inspire in somebody to get them to be, you know, like, with these Tinder dates and shit that has not been happening. So, like, to actually meet somebody and, like, you're actually vibing and, like, there's chemistry is, like, weird and rare, and it's like, it is kind of a shame to just, like, have something like that disappear or slip through your fingers. How are you going to capture that again? You know, next time I see that person, am I going to be awkward? Am I going to be as cool? Am I going to be as, you know, was that my chance? Like, I don't know. I guess you can't really think that way if something is, like, you know, going to be real or, you know, significant. But we're also at this time period where it's just like, good God, we just got out of a pandemic. Like, there's nothing wrong with just having fun and, like, I don't know. It's a Wednesday night. I'm not sure. I think what happened was just like it was a misbehavior. I think that's probably not actually what she wanted to do. I think it just kind of happened that, like, it's one of those things where you find yourself and you're not even sure why, like, doing the thing that's against your own interest, or, you know, anxiety. You're just like, I gotta get out of, you know, I gotta go home, I gotta get on the train, I gotta go to sleep, I gotta X, Y, or Z. I mean, I did mention that I lived nearby a few times. She seemed somewhat interested in that. Maybe next time, you know. But I'm getting anxious, man. This is getting tough. Like, I'm just so, like, ready to, like. And she was just, like, a really magnificent person, to be honest. So anyway, we go to the fucking bar, International Bar. We walk further away. I'm carrying the OED still. With my tripod, all my camera shit. I've got SD cards, I've got lenses, I got batteries. I'm high, I'm drunk. I'm worried, like, oh, am I going to forget something? Am I going to lose part of my camera? Am I going to lose a lens cap or a battery? Or, you know, like, I don't want to lose an, you know. I don't want to leave something. I've got the OED. I've got shit in my pocket. You know, like my pants are ripped. We're moving locations. I'm carrying the OED. I'm carrying my tripod. So we walk further away, and all the while I'm thinking I could take a cab to my apartment. I could put this girl into a cab. We could go to my apartment right now. She might do that. Like, this is what would have happened in the 70s, probably, when everybody was really partying. But it's not like that anymore, obviously. So anyway, we walk further away. So I'm thinking in my head, oh God, it's going to cost me more money to get home because now I'm going to have to pay for a cab from further away. And I'm carrying this huge dictionary everywhere. It's absurd in a cool way. But I'm having a great time. That's the thing. I was really bonding with James and Anna. I'm not sure if it's Anna or Anna. I'm sorry if I'm like fucking that up. But, you know, I've been so like socially unable to be a part of this that like now I'm just like I'm trying to be as much of a part of it as I can. I'm trying to be as available and as like involved, you know, and as supportive, whatever. I want to get to know these people. I like them. I think they're talented. I think they're, you know, this is where it is, to be honest. Like this is it's a way in to innovative work. And I don't know if this girl finds out who I really am. She's gonna be quite as enamored. So we went to the International, and I had a great time. You know, we were all chilling, we're all talking, we're all just, you know, sort of. I mean, it was a subject of conversation, like how did I fuck that up, or what went wrong. They kept saying, "Oh, we should have left. We should have left you alone." So that didn't happen. So I ended up hanging out with them, like usually, like every other night of my life. I blow it. Something's like totally, you know, it's always like the most, you know, the ones you want the most. The ones that are most painful to like Kaiser Sose. You find out too late. Oh, what? Wait, come back. I didn't think you would do that. You know, I didn't think. So, I don't know. Then I walk home carrying the fucking Oxford English Dictionary. I get in a cab. Cost me $15 fucking dollars. And I thought I lost my pin. I was like, where's my pin? My Pilot G2. James knew what the Pilot G2 was. See, these people was just like, we all get it. We all get it. When they were like, we can't believe you didn't pull. I couldn't believe they said it that way. Because that is like a social dynamic term. Pull. You know, did you pull? That's like game talk. Oh, I got to pull. I couldn't believe they started saying, oh, we thought you were going to pull. Because we're right by 13th step. And I'm like, holy shit. You people really are poets. This really is where I'm meant to be. You know, I didn't want to, like, I don't know. That's always my kind of conception with hooking up and stuff. It's like, oh, I'm not trying to, like, ruffle anybody's feathers or, like, I don't want to make things messy by, like, you know. Not that necessarily, I don't know. Who knows? But, I found out when I got home, looking at Instagram, that this person we're mutuals on Instagram with Easy Paradise, and I've noticed they've looked at the story from time to time. I didn't really, like I said, I've never met them in person. I don't think. I'm sure I've seen them at Poetry Project stuff in the past, but they put out a chapbook of Jim Morrison poems. It was like a printed, and they do tons of stuff with like printed matter and really cool, stuff I'd like to be involved with. But I was like, I don't know. I think I really do have a deep affinity with this person, maybe, in a way. So, I don't know. Here's to next time, and I don't know. Just like, I just want to get to know as many people as possible. It's not I'm going on all these Hinge dates and stuff. That's kind of like where I'm trying to like, but it is what it is. It's whatever. My social life is cool. So today I'm looking through the Oxford English Dictionary and I'm thinking to myself, oh, what happened to that fucking, exquisite corpse? Like, I wonder, like, who took that? Like, what? I forgot we did that. Like, that's what James said. He's like, we shouldn't have spent all that time doing the dumbass exquisite corpse. Like, you could have, whatever, scored. We did that stupid exquisite corpse. We wasted all that time doing that. So I'm thinking, I lost my pen. Where's the exquisite corpse? I went through my camera stuff. I uploaded, the footage today. It's all there. I got all my SD cards, all my batteries. I'm pretty sure I have everything with that. So I don't think I lost anything per se. Even though I was worried about that the whole time, that's a constant fear with me. And so I'm looking at the OED, and I'm looking up words that I don't know the meanings of or I've never heard before. I'm looking up, just reading it, going through it. I brought it home, $15 cab ride for Christ's sakes. And I look in the fucking, there's this drawer on top that has the fucking, it's supposed to have the magnifying glass in it, but it doesn't. So I open it up today, and what's inside but the exquisite corpse that we wrote last night and my pen in the fucking little drawer. This fucking book is like a cabinet. It's like a dresser. It's got like its own fucking drawer. Like, look at this. What kind of a book has a drawer? The OED. So I look inside, and there's the exquisite corpse. There's my Pilot G2. I didn't lose anything after all. It's written on this beautiful brown construction paper, and I'll read it for you right now to end out the broadcast. This is the exquisite corpse. Post, Erica Hunt, Jump the Clock, new and selected, launch reading. Poetry Project, May 19th, 2021. Coolest Jonas Berry does not talk about craft. Kenneth Cokehead doesn't talk about minimum wage or graffiti or giraffes like Dali would, Naka, pool, or if the book holds up to the night wind. I don't think so. Yes, Love Jam and all the love in between. Saw and talked QAnon memorial. Love and invitations. Love and anti-coit sentiment. Love on bicycles. Last tree dallying. Love and restaurant effectiveness. I've had phenomenal convos about dermatology. That is the drug I was doing. The other side of the table. To each their own. Do you want to talk all night? I would love to. See you then. Torture Mall. Full mask torture. Torture email. torturemall.bandcamp.com. I could be in your bomb. I could be this Y forever. Unfuckwithable. Selena Kyle is phenomenal. The creation of Adam with Thing Thong. I go to Hollow Earth to meet my maker. Evolution and creation coalescing in a really great way. And then I drew a dragon. There's a dragon. I drew a dragon. That's like the Marxist side of the movie. One gat. Main character vibes for cutie coalesces on two sides of the drug table. Global honeyed money language pulls the tube out of his mouth when you're alone in urban legend. When the guy drinks Drano, that's how Vachel Lindsay died. You do have to work, and Matt, we've seen each other at shit for years. The Shoot, the Spectre, let's accelerate. Be all about that. I agree with you. I'd like to hear more. So that's the Exquisite Corpse. That was my night. Hopefully you guys are living life. Thank you for watching. We'll talk soon.